All right. So going live for a little bit. And all I got to say is when I popped off, then your girl gave me a little bit of lockjaw, baby. So cold. He's from the Northeast, from the Canada. I'm not from Canada. I do, though. I have decided to make some heretic soldiers for a trench crusade, and I will be using World War I Canadian bodies and equipment, but spiky heads and hellish equipment and stuff to uh, make them better. You know what I mean? To make them look the part. And here's the reason. This has nothing to do with like any like animus towards Canada. I love Canada. And I have many people I talk to all the time who are Canadian. You know what? Love them too. I think they're great people. However, Canada during World War II committed some damn war crimes that were so bad the whole rest of the world was like, hold up, right? So for me, it's kind of an inside joke that if I'm going to make the heretic army that's supposed to be full of all the bad guys and everything, I was like, I should make them all Canadian since, Canadians apparently invented war crimes and shit in the modern age. So, yeah, yeah, they're going to be Canadians. I just need to. The last couple times I've tried to print something on my printer, it said that it's the wrong format or something, which means when I'm going on the printer and I'm building the print things, I must have it on I need to look at my settings and make sure that it's Saturn 3, 12K, whatever. But and the best part about making the bad guys uh uh what's it called? Canadian is that I pay I think $15 a month to be part of the War Games Atlantic tribe on my mini factory. Basically like following a Patreon. And as a result, they um, give me free miniatures like all the time. Like I'll log on to my I'll log on to my mini factory and hey James Lowry, how you doing? But I'll log on to my mini factory and there'll be like 3 or 4 new STLs there. So the last time I logged on, it was World War I Canadians. And I was like, well, isn't that something, Some World War I Canadian infantry. That is something. I mean, I've been like, here is a schismatic nun I've been working on. And you can see I removed her weapons that she came with. And I put a pistol in one hand and a big freaking Cossack saber in the other because I'm giving my army a kind of a very Slavic look. So that means it's gonna have Cossack, World War I, right? So we're gonna have Cossack sabers and uh, Russian equipment. And I think that's I don't know. I'm pretty happy about that. Um, I do got some World War I German infantry, and I've been scavenging through their stuff, basically taking stick grenades and shit, and then gluing stick grenades onto the belts of the people who could use them. within the Army. My Army, I don't think is going to be a super elite Army. It's mostly just going to be trench pilgrims and stigmatic nuns with the leaders. Hey, Hungar, I sent you a link if you're out of the hospital. If you're not, then keep being in the hospital. But, and I have, see, I'm only doing this, guys, because I've actually finished my entire Song of Ice and Fire Army. So I'm stoked about that. I've got a couple of like individuals I can paint up, but they're not actually part of my army. So, you know, who cares? Like I've got a new, what's his name? The Dampier, Aegon Greyjoy to paint up. I've got a new Euron Greyjoy I can paint up. And this one, he's actually holding the dragon horn, which was something that was completely skipped out of from the TV shows, I am told. Because, you know, most of what I know about sore throat, okay. Most of what I know about a Game of Thrones is from watching lore videos. So, like, you know, when I started making my Song of Ice and Fire army, I had no idea who Victarion Greyjoy even was. And then I was also surprised that there's no Yara Greyjoy. But it turns out that there never was. You know, when you actually watch the lore, you find out there never was a Yara Greyjoy. There's Asha Greyjoy. And, you know, I like that Hollywood smarts to know why they changed that. Because the lore videos I've watched don't really explain why that was changed, but apparently somebody felt like it had to be changed. So instead of Asha Greyjoy, you got Yara Greyjoy. And also, Carl's not there, spelled with a Q, but that was Asha Greyjoy's champion. So, you know, and pretty much went everywhere she went. And she was the captain of her own ship, you know, as a Greyjoy, because, you know, apparently the Greyjoys weren't like super sexist or anything. I mean, if you were a lady, but you could fight and you could command a crew of a raiding ship, they would. And I'm sure it helped that she was related to, you know, the Greyjoy family, but, you know, that's one thing I'm noticing about the lore of A Song of Ice and Fire. And I'm not even like, I'm not complimenting on whether this is a good thing or not. But there's a lot of women in A Song of Ice and Fire that are in powerful positions, but they're not like jarring, you know? It's like there's a lot of women that are involved in a bunch of stuff, but none of them are really girl bosses. They're all like, they have their flaws. They're, you know, doing their thing. They're, you know, like Cersei is not a girl boss. If anything, she's a big F up. But, you know, you can argue she did it for her family, whatever. She did a lot for her family, right? Maybe too much. But anyway, that's me being like, whatever. So, I mean, so it's not quite as offensive as when you like watch certain other things on TV. or whatever. And, there's all these girl bosses running around whipping guys' asses, right? Like Asha Greyjoy is pretty rough. She's a good fighter. Could she ever in a billion years beat her uncle Victarion? No. Victarion would rip her in half. And she knows it. And she couldn't beat Euron either. And she knows that. And she also knows that Euron is a crazy person who, is just pure evil. Like he essayed one of his nephews or some shit when he was young. He's just the worst person in the book. I mean, maybe not the worst. He's not as horrible as Ramsay Snow, but he is damn close, Like he's so evil that he kind of makes me not want to even use the unit that is the Silent Men, which I thought were super cool, and I painted up and they look really cool. Except it turns out the Silent Men are Euron Greyjoy's specific crew because his ship is called the Silence, right? And I'm all like, damn, I don't even know if I want to field those guys because he's such a dick. I mean, of course I'm going to field Victarion because Victarion, yeah, he's kind of an asshole, but he's not, that kind of bad guy. And then the other guy I would think about as a commander would maybe be the Iron Maker guy. The Iron Makers seem like as far as, Greyjoys go, they seem like a relatively honorable, decent family that's, but anyway, yeah, back onto this is the original Trench Prophet. I cut the head off and I put a iron caprietta on there. Mainly because I didn't like the head, because the basic head that comes with the character is a black woman. And if I were playing Ethiopians, that would be fine, because Ethiopians are an army you can play in this game. You can't play the Ethiopians. And that makes perfect sense, even in an alternate world, because the Ethiopians were some of the first nation on the planet that embraced Christianity, like right off the bat. They're like, this whole Christ thing, we're down. We love it, right? So having Ethiopians fighting for Christ versus the forces of hell, that's just, that's 100% a thing. And if I were making an Ethiopian army, having it led by a black prophetess would be a thing. It'd be awesome. It'd be like, that's cool. But the problem is my army is from Russia and the Balkans. So, probably not going to have the leader of the army be an African, But the good news is they make a alternate sculpt. She's still female, but I don't care about that. But we got this alternate sculpt, and she's obviously European. And except I gave her, instead of the shield she came with, I gave her the Castigator shield, which has the crucifix in the middle, surrounded by hands nailed to the shield. So I need to go ahead and get some flesh paint out and start painting up some hands, right? And what a lot of people do is they actually download holy icons from the computer, and then they resize them to make them the same scale as the figures are, and then print them out and cut them very small. They resize them to be very small. Hey, Jose. And then they cut the figures out, the icons, the holy icons, and they glue them onto their miniatures. So, like you might see a miniature with the holy icon of Saint Michael, or the holy icon of Saint Moses the Black, or the holy, whatever, Like one of the alternate armies they talk about is from the Balkan region in Russia, and they revere Saint Olga. And part of their deal is they use lots of flamethrowers. And that's because, in the hell of a busy week. Oh, sucks, bro. And, stay strong. I know what you're doing is probably the hardest thing a man will ever have to do. It's really difficult. So right now I'm making a small block, putting some boards on it and some, freaking, this will be painted metallic with rust and everything. And that's going to represent, just on the table, I can stick that down next to, say, this. So if they're both on the table, like that far apart, then, or however you want, then you've already got a trench there and possibly other trenches to, I'm just going to build parts and then on the board just set them all up, and that way every battle can be a little different. Like this guy, I was trying something out on. I'm not 100% sure how I like it. Plus, could be kind of expensive to make a bunch of these, but I used some of the Vallejo mud, and it didn't take too much because I put it on thin, but still, right? And then here's the metal, and there's probably going to be ladders, there's going to be cross beams and everything all the way around. Because being at the height that they are, if I grab a figure, you'll note that the figures will not be, visible running down the trench, right? So anywhere that's going to have firing spots, I'm going to make 1 inch tall, clad all in lumber and stuff, so that they could stand on top of the firing platforms. You see what I mean? And then on some of them, I've just cut these little alcoves out. And these I could turn them into bunks, or maybe they're just alcoves. And if I put a roof on top of it that's removable, it's just a place they can hide from artillery. You see what I mean? They could just run in here and hide from artillery. Plus, it'd be a great place to ambush your opponents. Like this guy right here has a shovel, I think from a World War I German figure, and then he's got the revolver from the actual official Trench Crusade stuff. Like I said, one of the best things about the Trench Crusade stuff is they oh, and I was watching an interview with the guys who make Trench Crusade. And what I thought was kind of like, well, that's odd, is the guy who come up with the idea and designs all the miniatures, I have to leave. Oh, I'm sorry, Jose. The guy who comes up with all these miniatures has a crucifix hanging on the wall over his bed. I mean, he's obviously in real life religious. So I was like, well, that's kind of wild, you know. He's coming up with all these like this craziness, but in real life, he is a religious person. Uh, so you know, now the guy who designed the game, he's not particularly religious, but what do you expect? He's from England, so you know, the British decided to trade their religion away for, uh, I don't know, I don't want to say, but anyway, nice and sunny out yesterday, which was awesome because my what's it called is was destroyed by me, so can't blame anybody. My box that I use, my UV box. But the good thing about living in, you know, Florida is that as long as there's a nice sunny day out, you can actually take 3D prints, put them on a whatever, and set them out for about 15 minutes. You've been watching some of the lore videos. I like Ashland or whatever his name is. I like his voice, and his videos are good. I mean, the artwork is crazy. It's like, hey, you know, you remember like first and second and third edition Warhammer when it was really grim, dark, and like every picture showed people getting ate by monsters and blah blah. Yeah, it's that. It's basically that. It you know, it's like, hey, you know how some people want to play chaos? Well, in this game, if you're one of those guys from 40K that likes chaos because you want to be, you know, an edgy boy, well, you know, uh, let's see what we got. Oh, we got hunger.
I like the heretics.
Huh?
The heretics.
What about them?
I like them. And
Are you talking about the humans that just decided to serve hell?
yeah, in trench warfare,
What makes you like the heretics, man?
the demon heads that they can chuck at people that keep screaming.
Oh, that's what they do if they capture a spy from New Antioch.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Alter? Yeah, if they capture a spy from New Antioch trying to sneak into their lands to spy on them, they behead them. Then they carve goetic runes on the head to make it scream, and they send it back. They you know, have somebody throw it into the.
I like the guys that you picked, but you picked them, so I can't pick those.
You can pick them though.
Well, so we can play against each other with the same people.
Hell yeah. The
No.
thing with trench pilgrims is every band of trench pilgrims has got its own shit going on. Like
And
my trench pilgrims are all Orthodox from Russia, right? Your trench pilgrims could all be French. And there's as much of a chance as not that one, we've been tricked, and the thing we think we're following that we think is a saint isn't. What's up, bro? And two, maybe we just don't agree on shit. You know what I mean?
the dudes with the helmets that can actually hear God speaking.
Those guys are pretty crazy. The observers.
Those guys are like BANANAS.
Yeah, bananas. Yeah, they have to concentrate real hard, but then they can hear the voice of God, but then it messes them all up and they have to take like sedatives and stuff so they can sleep.
Or
because, you know,
the guys that take the drugs So they feel no pain, but at the end of the battle, they're just like, I'm dead.
There's a lot of that in the game, I've noticed.
Yeah.
It's like the new Antioch, the big guys in the mech suits, they're all drugged up, like on combat drugs and shit.
They're using guns like just regular old slug throwers, but a lot of people have armor that's bulletproof.
Well, that has to do with, there's a lore reason for that. The engineers in Prussia, the Free State of Prussia or whatever, because the Holy Roman Empire still exists, and so does Imperial Russia. They found a way to make holy alloys of orichalcum and titanium and shit like that.
Yeah.
So even though it looks like a knight in plate mail with a big ass sword, that armor will stop small arms fire. And then that heavy armor I was talking about, the big mech suits, I mean, that shit's like a walking tank, you know? But the guys in it are, they got to be drugged up to make them strong enough to operate that thing. But there's the one, and dude is like, just swinging around a Maxim machine gun or some shit like nothing, you know? So, and in game, not only do they have like really good armor, but they're tough. And so they're really hard to kill. Really
Well,
hard.
Chaos has those things that are like 100 foot long, the tanks.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But the other thing, if you're looking for on the heretic side, if you're looking for something kind of like the new Antioch armored guys, I think they're called Exalted or something like that. And they're basically the same thing.
Yeah. My boy Deadlifts for the Dark God on YouTube. He's been doing videos about trench warfare.
Well, the game is actually, I've been reading the rules and messing with it. The game is actually good. And if you can get a group together, it plays like Mordheim.
Mordheim?
Where your characters can advance and things can happen and you can gain glory points to buy more, like, better equipment and stuff like that. Like, one of the downsides of playing your trench pilgrims is if you want submachine guns, you have to buy them with glory points. So you can't start with them, right? Whereas Heretic Legion guys can start with submachine guns, semi-automatic rifles, automatic rifles, because the forces of hell are actually better equipped than the trench pilgrims, who for the most part are just dudes and women who were hanging out on their farm wherever they were, and they got a vision from God that said, go to wherever and stab demons in the face.
That sounds like it makes sense because evil always has more money.
Right. And that is a thing. Like, the number one enemy of the Ethiopians is Mammon, the god of greed, because Mammon rules most of North Africa, and the Eritrean emperor, so Ethiopia, is like totally trying to like take Mammon out and take all of his shit and give it to the Duke of New Antioch, Constantine. So, like, the lore, it's like it's really vague on some points, but it talks a little. It's like the Irish got so mad that the heretics were raiding them with submarines that they decided to send their own people into New Antioch to fight for the Duke. And every now and then, some of these Irishmen have a gene that makes it where they're berserkers. So that's like even New Antioch has multiple flavors of. You can play like the generic New Antioch. You can play like the Prussian stormtrooping, the Scottish, the Irish, the Ethiopians.
I'd play the Germans.
And then there's another bunch that they fight. They're part of the list, but they don't listen to the Duke of New Antioch at all because they work directly for the Pope. So they're called a Papal Rapid Response Unit. And they have like all of the most hardcore good equipment, but they do not give a shit what the Duke in New Antioch's got to say about anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're all like, yeah, we work directly for the Pope. So, and the other thing is, too, all the Christians have kind of ganged up, but that doesn't mean they all like each other. Because you still got the Roman Catholics, you've still got the Holy Roman Empire, which is Catholic, but you've still got Imperial Russia and the Balkans, which are, you know, hardcore Orthodox. So it's kind of like, okay, we're all going to put aside our beef for a little while because, you know, demons, but I don't believe what you believe, you know, and don't think I will. Like,
it's like construction's like, just because we work together don't mean I have to like you.
Right. And it even applies to the Muslims, who most of the Christians consider to be heretics that deserve nothing more than death. But they're willing to put that aside for a while, you know, until they figure out this whole demon thing. So it's like, all right. And the Muslims feel the same way. They feel like, you know, the Holy Land has been overrun by heretics and infidels, but, you know, there's also demons doing everything they can to try and wipe out all the Muslims. So
the enemy of my enemy is somebody I tolerate.
Right. So in that way, let's say somebody wanted to play a Sultanate army and another guy was playing Trench Pilgrims, you could totally be thrown down. Because the Trench Pilgrims or the Sultanate might look across the trench and be like infidels. So, you know, if there's no demons here, let's go ahead and handle these bastards real quick. You know what I mean? And
now,
of course, the number one enemy of the seven-headed serpent, which is like the actual forces of hell, their number one enemy is each other. Like they don't leave hell or Jerusalem to necessarily to kill humans. They are just as likely as to hunt each other. Because the forces of hell absolutely hate each other. And there's a lot of politics there. You know what I mean? The only one who's not playing the game is the Black Grell. Because he decided he's going to rebel against the rebels. You know what I mean?
Hey, John.
Hey, John, how you doing? And salute to you. So, so the Beelzebub has actually rebelled against everyone else. But they're all constantly backstabbing each other.
Now, do you have to use the minis that they sell, or can you use any minis?
It's not only is it miniatures agnostic, but the creator of the game and the guy who come up with the idea of the game both say that you can use any miniatures you want. So, I mean, I'm lucky because I have access to a 3D printer thanks to having a great brother, right? But you could buy like a box of World War I figures from some historic games company, like War Games Atlantic or something, and then mod them up with, like, I don't know, medieval helmets and swords and all kinds of crazy ass shit, right? And then that could be, depending on, you know, what the stuff you put on them looks like, you could have, that could be a new Antioch army, or that could be a heretic army.
So I could buy a bunch of like Arabic figures with the turbans and shit.
Oh, and play, yeah, and play the Sultanate. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I'd have like the Desert Raiders from like 40K.
Well, the thing too, though, is because the Arabs are so hardcore into alchemy, their alchemists have made like war beasts, like the Lion of Jazal or Jabril or whatever. Like, that's their dig, is they use alchemy based on, like, you know, in real life, you know, in Baghdad, they were big time into studying alchemy.
Yeah.
These dudes use alchemy to create these, I would call them abominations.
I could get me a Lawrence of Arabian army.
You could. You could. I mean, that's a thing that could happen. 100%. You could build a straight up Arab themed army and do your thing, you know?
Or get an army of inner city youths. It could be the army of the Nation of Islam.
Well, I don't know about that.
That would be great.
Because I don't think that exists in the year 1914.
It'd still be hilariously awesome.
But you can absolutely, and they 100% encourage people to make whatever armies they want.
They could all dress up like Black Panthers.
Yeah, I think that'd be lame.
That'd be hilarious and awesome.
Yeah, it'd be lame.
No demon ever called me the N-word.
So they're all heretics?
Yeah.
Except I'm pretty sure they would, though. Like the way they describe Jerusalem, like the spies that have managed to go there and actually escape. And they're talking about it's like just pure depravity all the time, everywhere. Like people being tortured and people being crucified upside down, and everybody chucking their firstborn children into altars to Baal. And in the markets, they're selling human flesh by the pound. So it's like, I guess if you want your baby back ribs, right? You can be like, I want my baby back, baby back, baby back.
Yeah, they'd all be holding signs. Not even ever.
The only way to get out from underneath all this bullshit is to become a heretic trooper. But in order to become a heretic trooper, you have to say you want to be a heretic trooper, and then you have to go on a pilgrimage to the gates of the inferno, of hell, right? And most people don't make it because, you know, in order to get to the gates of the inferno, you have to be really, really evil. And if you're not evil enough, you just get burned up. But you don't die. So other people coming behind you, they get to see you laying there screaming. And then after that, there's the whole once you get to the gate, you swear your oaths, and you are forever and ever and ever now a member of the demonic host, right? But some people are so evil that when they get to the gate, they're all like, this ain't shit, right? At which point they enter, even though they're alive, they go inside of the inferno. And these guys, their flesh gets burned off and all that sort of stuff. But they become the elite troops of the Heretic Legion with like super heavy armor, you know, and big ass weapons, gigantic flamethrowers and stuff like that. And they're actually treated pretty well as far as, you know, minions of hell. The big rule is no pure fallen angel or demon, devil, whatever, can actually leave the inferno. So they rely on hybrids and humans to do all their work. But every single one of them is constantly betraying the other ones. So they have a hard time getting their shit together, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that's the Heretic Legions. Like one of the, I've got the Heretic Legion, not the army with all the official miniatures. I've got the Heretic Legion bits kit that just allows you to make Heretic Legion heads and weapons and the various horrible stuff they wear around their belts and stuff. And it's like, oh my God, you know? But anyway. So I'm just, you know, gussing up some of these before they get painted all black and then dry brushed and whatever dirt I'm going to put on top of the top. And I'll probably go all the way around them with like sandbags, you know, at least a couple tall sandbags all around. And then I've got 3D STLs of like just fields of crosses and stuff, you know, like just random crosses. And I can print out like 100 at a time. So, you know, there'll be crosses all over the place, shrines, you know.
I'm going to bounce out, brother.
You're going to bounce out? What, you just want to pop in? Well, if you're going to play Heretic Legion when you visit, I'll have some Canadians made up for you.
I might play the Arabs.
Well, the Arabs will be more difficult because they have.
I buy a bunch of Lawrence of Arabia bennies.
Yeah, but they have figures that I can't mod up, like, you know, Lions of Jabrar, the Brazen Bulls, stuff like that. I do have STLs for Janissaries, though, from just before World War I, you know, like back in that period when Turkey was still a thing. So it wouldn't be very difficult at all to like print up the bodies of these Janissaries and then equip them with more modern weapons and stuff.
Well, they use a lot of swords and stuff in that game too.
I've got some of my trench pilgrims running around with shovels.
Yeah.
I actually made a trench pilgrim out of an extra Death Corps of Krieg guy I had laying around.
Nice.
And it's like, I'm sitting here looking at my plate of trench pilgrims and I can't even find him. He's in there somewhere, though.
All right. Well, I love you, brother.
Well, I love you too, Home Skillet.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. So back to me again. Hungar had to take off. Sad. But yep. Just doing this. This thing here, I think, will just be a big block in the middle of the table. And it'll be accessible with like bridges from other places. And then of course I'll have to build the duck walks, to go around everything. I'll probably have to build multiple of them so that, I'll be able to move things around. But no way I could build an actual 4x4 table. Like, one, I wouldn't want to build a 4x4 where it's just going to be the same all the time anyway. But the other thing is, it would be a pain in the ass to store, whereas enough pieces to build a 4x4 table or 3x3, I can store that in just one of my plastic boxes or something, and that'll be fine. That'll be 100% a-okay. So I'm not too worried about that. Now, I'm going to have to, I don't have to do anything, obviously, but, and I'm using card just to represent like boards, like the cladding. I do have some stir sticks, but I'm waiting to use the stir sticks to make all the walkways and bridges and stuff. But and for you magnificent 4 people who are watching me, build this terrain, if there's anything you would like to talk about, ask away. As long as it's not something that's going to be illegal to talk about, I don't mind. I mean, we can talk about how AD&D is one of the best versions of D&D. We could do that. See if that gets some people stirred up. Specifically, first edition. Second edition was the beginning of the BS, Second edition was when they decided that they needed to ease up on level caps for NPCs and a bunch of other ridiculous shit that never should have happened. See, one of the things I love about not just AD&D, but OSE Advanced is like the max level is 10. So, or 14. So it's like, okay, it still has level caps for demi-humans, but I mean, the max level that a human can ever achieve is like 14, and you stop getting bonuses or anything at like level 9 or 10. So, if your guy decides he wants to play a dwarven fighter and he's got a high strength, so his max level is like 8, it's not that big of a deal. What's up, Off Grid Gaming? How you doing? I hope you're not freezing to death up in the Great White North, or as we in America now call it, Gay North Dakota, because that was a Babylon Bee thing saying that America is going to take over Canada and rename it Gay North Dakota, because we don't want to call it Canada, because then people might start thinking it's a country. And we're going to call it Gay North Dakota because it's a little gay. And also, after the trans surgery, what's his name? Yeah, the 51st state. after the trans surgery, your current or was current prime minister will become the first governor, the first female governor of gay North Dakota. I'll tell you what, those guys at the Babylon Bee are having way too much fun with all this shit. Personally, no offense to any of my Canadian bros, but I want you guys to just go ahead and stay your own country. You know, I have trust issues with Canada because they I set my location X to the 51st state. Hilarious. I love the fact that some people are able to have a freaking sense of humor about it. But it's like my problem with Canada, and I know it's not all Canada. I know it's just like, you know, Toronto and maybe Montreal. You guys, like those people, not you guys, but those people kept electing Justin Trudeau. And that makes me very nervous about allowing them into the United States because, geez, man. I mean, who knows who we'd end up getting elected if we had a whole other state that's willing to vote for Justin Trudeau. But now, crazy stuff, I guess he wasn't bullshitting around. He signed a presidential order renaming the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. Now, I thought he was joking on that one. I really did. I thought he was just trolling because, you know, he is the trolling chief of the United States these days. But no, he literally did sign papers saying that shit is the Gulf of America. Which technically is true because that doesn't mean United States. That just means America. And, you know, the United States is part of America. Mexico is part of America. Canada's part of America. So, you know, he's just sharing the wealth. You know what I mean? Just sharing the wealth around. He's saying, hey, you know, but he is definitely a different guy than he was last time he was in office. I'll tell you that. Nice. Yeah, man. It's like, I don't know how every Canadian I talk to is like, I didn't vote for that asshole. And then it's like, well, how's he keep getting elected? And they all say the same thing. Toronto, Montreal, full of a bunch of freaking asshats. And I'm like, I totally feel you, man, because we got a whole state called California. And no matter how stupid a candidate is, they will elect his ass over and over and over again. And no matter what he does, like he can let the whole state burn to the ground, they'll reelect his ass. You watch. It'll happen. Because there's a lot of people in America that are like vote blue no matter who idiots, which kind of pisses me off because I'm not a vote red or be dead kind of guy. I'm a vote on the policy, you know? I want to know what your policy is. And I am willing to overlook political party if policy is good stuff, you know? But some of these people, man, these vote blue no matter who people, it's like what you're basically saying is turn your brain off, stop thinking, and just vote the D, even no matter what. Like it could be the worst candidate in the universe, and you're going to vote for it because you're one of these idiots, you know? And it's like no wonder America is so full of, and I say the US, not Canada, but no wonder they're so full of shit. You see them, hey, there's Lethodis. You see them all on X with their little blue waves and shit. We've got to get ready to form the resistance. Against what? What are you resisting, you assholes?
The best economy ever.
You know, the guy won fair and square. He won the popular vote, so you can't even bitch about that. It's like, just calm down, you know? Relax. 4 years will go by quicker than you even think, especially as you get older, man. I'll tell you what.
Oh, and then they'll get Newsom to run.
And he'll probably lose to J.D. Vance. But hey, whatever you want to do, man, knock yourselves out, you know?
But like what was it? Who was it again? That one really old guy on the TV said he's a winner.
Who, Newsom?
Yeah. I forgot the name of the guy who said that. Oh crap! He was on that late night. He has his own
Carmel or Carvel or whatever.
No, I don't think
He
it was
was
him.
like, if it's the guy I'm thinking about, he was a Democrat. Like he was constantly trying to help Democrats get elected for like the last 50 years.
It was Maher, Bill Maher.
Oh, Bill Maher? Bill Maher.
So.
Bill Maher's like a broken clock. He's right twice a day.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time, it's like, nope, that's still Bill Maher. He's still an idiot.
Yep.
And people
I think
get
even now,
excited.
I think he finally said, "Oh yeah, maybe Newsom was such a great choice."
What's funny is how people who are like, I guess, conservatives or whatever, every time Bill Maher says something that has even the remote whiff of like common sense, they get all freaking their panties in a
Yeah, no, I don't get it. I see it a lot of times with a lot of these people.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard that like Saskatchewan, Alberta, places like that really don't have much of a say. It's all like Quebec and wherever Toronto is, maybe Ontario or whatever. I mean, I'm not going to lie, guys. I don't even know the names of all of your provinces. I know the names of all of our states, but I couldn't name. I think you have 7, right? Isn't it 7?
Who really cares about North Gay, Dakota?
North Gay, Dakota, right? That is so like. It's like the Babylon Bee is just getting a little nuts. You know, they're just like, we're just going to do it. Did you ever see the thing where it was like Democrats after Trump wins and it's literally the devil sitting in the car screaming?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, because you know how every now and then they have the one dude dress up like the devil and say stuff?
Yeah, I know. I've seen some of those, but
well, it's just him in a car going, why, like that one girl was.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay. Oh, Babylon Bee. They are
funny.
They did a great show about D&D.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool.
They did a skit on D&D. This guy shows up.
I like their video where they were
play some D&D. Yeah, I brought my fighter, except there, you know, and he's like, and I got my book too, and it's like AD&D, and they're like, oh no, we're not playing that D&D.
Oh no,
we're playing this D&D, and it's like 5e, but the new 5e.
Oh god,
so
the 2014 or 2024 edition.
Start,
I think
like,
it was. Yeah.
They call him out for like offending one of them, throws up the safety symbol and you know, all this shit. And then the guy's like, I'll make you a new character, and it's a polyamorous, non-binary dragonkin. And he's like, you know, like sitting there like, what game are we even playing? You know, like, because when he says the name is Dungeons and Dragons, aren't we supposed to go into dungeons and kill dragons? And they're all like holding their hands up in an X. Like, that makes me incredibly uncomfortable because it's such a colonialist freaking statement. And, you know, we don't need to be colonizing these dungeons and blah, blah, blah. Guys just like, what?
Last time I checked, you don't stay in the dungeons. You leave after you clear them.
Right. And then they accuse him of being a racist for wanting to kill dragons. And the girl at the table is like, I'll have you know, I'm half dragon. And he says, your character? And she says, no. And he just looks at her like, you know, like, really?
Really?
Like, this person thinks they're half dragon. So I have a rule. If you think you're half dragon or in any other way you seem insane when we're playing a role-playing game, I never invite you back.
Even if we're not in a role-playing game, I'm not inviting you.
Because it's like, if you can't tell the difference between reality and fantasy, I don't trust you. You're like,
I like the one where it was like the English teacher who was supposed to be like, you know, ruling on like a baseball game, and they're like, "Watch out for them." Who's them?
Right.
Like, who's they?
Oh, and of course, all the game companies are pissed off because Dragonbane Velguard, it turns out, was a huge flop.
Oh, you're talking about what was it?
Dragon Age Velguard?
Dragon Age. Yeah, you said Dragonbane.
Oh, Dragon Age Velguard was a huge flop, and the person who was responsible for it already left the company to go pursue other things. It's like, so this chick showed up, or dude pretending to be a chick, a chick pretender, whatever, shows up to your company. You hire her to be in charge of your IP. She destroys the shit out of it and immediately leaves. And what's even more funny is, you know, she'll get hired somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, someone will hire her, you know.
Watch her be Warhorse that'll hire.
It's like, oh, you've made 3 games and all 3 of them have completely flopped. Well, welcome aboard. We're sure they only flopped because of all those evil white haters online.
Remember when Favreau said that there would be no black people in Bohemia, so they wasn't going to put them in there?
Yeah.
That was a lie. He put a black dude.
Somebody said that part 2 they're adding like lame ass shit.
Yeah, they are. Black dude, gay dudes, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Well, who in the hell took over the company?
Dave Favreau's still the lead at it. But now the company's owned by another company.
Well, there you go. The company probably got bought out by BlackRock or Vanguard or one of those guys.
It was frig. I can't remember what it was named, but it was one that was really woke. Everybody knows about it.
Right. So now they're going to ruin. I mean, because if they're going to try to do all that shit, guess who won't be buying it? That was thinking about buying it.
I'm not buying it.
Yeah, this guy right here. I'll just keep playing Medieval Dynasty.
Yeah.
I mean, my son's getting up in age. He's starting to be able to apprentice. So I got him apprenticing as a blacksmith. And when he's old enough, I'll go ahead and retire my my first character, and take over as my son. You know, because that's how that game works.
Let me see.
And then I'll, keep going. Because, as long as I keep paying taxes, I mean, shit.
That's not right. That says right now they're owned by THQ Nordic.
THQ Nordic. Well, that makes sense, though.
Yeah.
Because THQ Nordic, yeah, they're woke as hell.
I heard it was a different group, though. I thought maybe it was right.
Yeah, I think THQ Nordic was the one that bought Battlefield and eventually destroyed it. Because originally Battlefield was made by some minor little company named DICE.
Yeah, they did actually. Finally, Warhorse Studios did get rid of that community manager and reverse all that stuff on Steam, at least.
Well,
there's that.
That's good.
But I think my trust is already pretty much eroded with how Favreau called a whole bunch of people Nazis, Newtsies.
The Newtsies.
Yep.
People who like playing Yahtzees and going on vacation to Poland.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this next 4 years is going to be wild because a lot of people are going to have to learn to live with stuff they didn't want to have to live with,
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Well, in better news, there's always old games. Old games never get bad.
Yeah, the old games stay good, don't they? You can always bust out.
Especially since some people figured out how to recompile old N64 games. So
really?
you can play them. Yeah, you can play them natively as PC games with modern additions and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Not many right now, but there's a few that you can play. Like you can play Star Fox 64, the Zelda games, and one of the most interesting ones is Mystical Ninja starring Goemon.
You know what game I would play on computer all day long, especially if it had multiplayer?
GoldenEye?
Is Conker's Bad Hair Day.
Or yeah, Bad Fur Day. Yeah, Conker's
Bad Fur Day. Oh my god, that was such a good game.
Yeah, that would be kind of fun.
But it's like no one is ever going to make a game like that again.
Oh, I think you can also get Perfect Dark as a recompiled game now.
Because Conker's Bad Fur Day just gave no shits about anything. It was like, oh yeah, we're going to have Nazi teddy bears.
Yeah.
We're going to have squirrels running around with katanas. There will be flamethrowers and gas chambers and Jewish squirrels trying to escape from the Nazi bears. And
Where back then was cool.
I mean, it was like they were just like, we're just going to do all the shit. And everyone,
I don't even know how they got away with that.
Want,
Just wondering how they got Nintendo to be okay with all that.
I don't know. And it all starts out at a bar.
Yeah.
Conker's at a bar drinking with a bunch of soldiers that are getting ready to go to the front line.
Yep.
And ends up getting drugged to the front line with them. And then, you play your way through. You got to go see the big poop pile and all that. But it's like multiplayer where you could especially if you knew the code so you could change what your character looked like. I always made my my squirrel look like freaking Matrix. So he had the black cape and the black glasses and the two submachine guns.
If anything, I would really like it whenever they get GoldenEye recompiled and allow for online multiplayer with that. Especially if they allow for the crazy mods, because I can tell you one thing they probably could do, actually, since they're technically just making mods, they could put back in all the bonds in there. That was originally going to be in the game, but Rare wasn't allowed to because they didn't have the rights to the characters or the
Which
live
is so
action
weird.
actors.
It's like you have the rights to James Bond, but you don't have the right to Pierce Brosnan James Bond.
No, they had the right for Pierce Brosnan. It's the others that they didn't have, like the Sean Connery and the other.
That's what I'm saying, though. How's that work? I mean, it's James Bond.
Well, the thing is, it's because the actors have also rights to their portrayal of the character.
Well, their image, yeah, that makes
their
sense.
image. So it's like you have to get right, and since that would probably be super expensive to get rights to characters that are the actor's image. So
Right.
expensive it wouldn't really make sense. They're just like, yeah, we'll just take that out and forget about it.
Yeah. Like I keep telling you, I wish somebody would take those old SSI games
and
the
just
old
update them,
AD&D games, and
make
just
them more modern. Yeah,
take
give them
care
better
of
graphics,
and just up the graphics and the controls, and you would be set, man. You would be set.
I know.
People would be playing the hell out of those games.
Keep the rules. Make it a lot like the new Wizardry games, because Wizardry still does the same thing, kind of.
Right.
Like newer ones, I mean.
Right.
But, yeah. Man, I wonder if I could still get the Wizardry trilogy, the original trilogy, and just more updated graphics, where I could find that. I'll need to look that up.
Yeah, just have the same rule set and everything, but better graphics, better controls.
Remaster it, kind of like how people remaster a lot of games anymore.
Well, like if I were a brilliant guy, I would take like the basic everything from like Temple of Elemental Evil and use that as a kind of a guide on how to update, Pull of Radiance, Secret of the Silver Blades.
Yeah.
All of that, And because, I mean, once you got the patches so that Temple of Elemental Evil wouldn't reformat your hard drive,
wow.
It was a good game. I mean, it used 3rd edition rules, but I mean, it was still a really good game,
Well, I mean, if you wanted that, there is the what was it? Neverwinter Nights that somebody did actually port over the story from Polar Radiance too.
Yeah, I've seen that. I used to play Neverwinter Nights pretty heavy with my buddies.
I tried once, played it a little bit. Me and Cody was kind of funny about it because we kind of made clerics and named ourselves after apostles.
Mm-hmm. Peter and Paul.
Yeah, I think those were the two.
Well, I mean, they're definitely two of the big ones.
Yeah. It might not have been the right two, though. I might have chose somebody different.
Could have been Cyril and Methodist or whatever. Methodist. But so
I did it because I thought it'd be funny, and my cousin's usually used to me making the same character in almost every game, so I thought I would
you're like, I'm going fooling this time. It's Saint Cyril, and he's got a Holy Avenger. Get ready for it, buddy.
I know it wasn't Cyril that I went with. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. Saint Olga.
I stuck to like the original apostles.
Right. So yeah, Luke, Mark, John, James.
Yeah.
Peter and Paul.
Man, if I thought about this, I would have chose Bartholomew. I wish I thought about that one.
Bartholomew.
Yep.
That is the name of Bear's character in the Dragonbane game, I think. He made a duck knight named Bartholomew.
Although that would probably have been weird because there was also an N64 game called West 64. Very weird little, very basic RPG. And I think your character's dad's name was Bartholomew, which I think was a misspelling of Bartholomew.
So, sitting here gluing some cladding on. This is some exciting stuff, guys. I finally did get my stigmatic nuns done as far as printed and cured, because thankfully yesterday was a really sunny day.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you set 3D printed miniatures out in Florida sunlight, it'll cure them pretty good.
That's good.
Yep.
It's been decently sunny and starting to get warmer again.
Yeah.
Let's see how long that'll last.
Well, you know, Kentucky, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. You know what they say about just, you don't like the weather, just wait like 15 minutes or so. It'll change.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Not to mention, with the whole recompiled N64 games, those are going to be kind of cool because of all the mods that'll be more easily done.
I don't really care about that, but you know.
I've already seen people do really good work with like not just not the recompiled version, but the base like emulated version of like not Goldmine, but it was Majora's Mask. Somebody updated it in 4K, imported new textures, made it look real nice.
It's like, I don't know, man. I'm sitting here and you're saying what you're saying, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, okay,
Yeah, well,
what is a good game that was made like in the last couple years?
That is a good question.
And I'm like, I don't even know, you know? It's like
either.
There had to have been good games made in the last couple years.
I guess not really, because
for you know, I don't know, whatever you play. PC. I mean, they're going to make freaking Civilization 7's coming out, but
it looks like trash to me.
Yeah, it's probably, I mean, it's like, is it going to be any different than Civilization 6?
Well, that's my problem. It is, and not for the better.
What do you mean? Is it more like mankind or humankind or whatever?
No, maybe, I don't know.
I don't like the games where when you build cities, the cities like take up whole areas, and then like you actually have to keep it. It's like, nah, I'd rather just the basic Civ stuff. You know what I mean?
Fair. I don't like Civ 7 style either. It looks stupid. And also the fact that I think they're detaching leaders from like civilizations.
Why would you do
something
that?
like that.
That's weird.
I don't know. It's weird because, again, and then it's like the people that they're putting in there, like Harriet Tubman, who wasn't a leader. Why is she being put in the same place as like George Washington would be?
Because the game's made by a bunch of stupid Europeans, and Europeans are typically stupid. It's like, I mean, Harriet Tubman, she ran the Underground Railroad. Okay, yep. Cool. That's really cool. She deserves a book or a statue or a medal or something. But
yeah,
Civilization, you're supposed to be playing like somebody
Leaders
who actually led a nation.
Like you could put Himiko in there, and you would be right to put Himiko in there. She was a leader of a nation. Catherine the Great was a leader of a nation.
I think Catherine the Great will be in.
Okay.
They're saying Catherine the Great is going to be in.
I have nothing wrong about that. There's nothing wrong with that one.
Yeah.
There is something wrong when you're putting Harriet Tubman as a leader, though.
Yeah, because I mean, who are you going to put in next? Like, if just any historical figure can be put in the game as a leader, it's like, you know, what are we doing? You know, it just doesn't make a lot of sense, you know. And I'm not trying to hate on Harriet Tubman or anything. It's just,
I don't know. That would make it feel like you could put Qing Shi as the leader of China, even though she was a pirate. Wouldn't make any sense.
Maybe you can put what's his name, the black samurai in charge of Japan.
He wasn't even a samurai, though.
I know. Like one guy from England has spread that lie, and somehow it has caught on so hardcore because people want to believe that. And it's like, no.
Yeah, no. People want to believe a lot of things. Doesn't mean it's right.
You know, he was basically just kept around because the shogun found him amusing.
Well, I mean, he worked for Nobunaga, not the shogun.
Or Nobunaga then?
Yep.
Found him amusing to keep around. It's not like, you know.
At least I think he did. That's what, I mean, I'll need to look that up, I guess, again to see if I'm right.
I'm not too concerned about it either way. We're just bullshitting around over here.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
if anything, Nobunaga would probably be the one most likely to just be amused by this foreigner and allow him to be there. You know, that would be a Nobunaga thing to do, it seems.
Should start an online petition so that Civ 7 adds Jefferson Davis.
Jefferson Davis, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. See how they feel about that. Just to troll the shit out of them, you know?
They should also add Funny Mustache Man, too.
Oh, why not?
Yeah,
he
no.
was the leader of a country. Some people would argue that, you know, the things he did affected the whole world for up until now.
Yeah.
Still affects the whole world, the shit he got into. That makes him one of the most, whether you like it or not, one of the most
influential leaders ever.
Influential leaders of all time. You know, him and Stalin.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm not going to hold my breath on any of that, but still.
Hey, at least next month we will get a really good game soon.
You keep saying that.
Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
No, the new game's going to be just like the movies. Only the game.
Oh no, that would be terrible.
Like you get to play Scarlett Johansson.
That would be so horrible. That reminds me of something that did happen like that, because there was a movie or a game that got turned into a movie, and then they made a game out of the movie. I can't remember what game that was.
In the original Silent Hill, which I played and it scared the shit out of me, the protagonist was the father of the child. And you spend the whole game as the father of the little girl, running around and trying to figure shit out, right? And it turns out that it's all Samael, a fallen angel, doing horrible shit, right? But then in the movie, it's the mother of the child. And that doesn't make any sense, because the point of the whole thing with the first one was that child wasn't actually his kid. Like, you know what I mean? So if you throw the mother of the child in there, now you got to ask yourself, but is that her kid?
How does that work? How do you not know if that's...
Yeah, I mean, what's going on here, you know? I'll tell you what, that game on the original PlayStation, the one with the disc.
Yeah, I heard that was really good.
That was a scary freaking game. That was not the game to be like wanting to play in the dark at like 3 a.m.
But you'll still do it.
Work third shift, so on your days off, it's just you hanging out at 3 a.m. You know what I mean?
I know.
That wasn't the game, because that shit was scary. And it was scary in like the best sort of way. It was like weird body horror and things that, it's like, one of the things it did that made it so scary was it took things that you should in any normal world absolutely be able to trust, you know, like doctors and nurses, and then made them monsters. But
maybe they were ahead of on something. Maybe this game was ahead on some things.
Mutant monsters running around with scalpels.
I know.
It's like, oh my God. And then you go into the school and, you know, there's all the mutant kids running around trying to kill you. It's just like, what in the have I gotten into here? You know,
probably better written than Resident Evil. Also,
it's just like, I watched the first Resident Evil movie. The wife and I tried to watch the one with the teenage girl, but it didn't make any sense. And it was very gory. I'll give it that. It was gory, but like.
So you never played any of the games?
But nothing made any sense in it. You know, like she's running around doing all this stuff, and you're just like,
yeah, well, at least he got that right on Resident Evil. That's the only thing that's right in those movies, really. Nothing makes sense.
Well, the thing with, like I said, the thing with Resident Evil is if you played the first one, you find out that the girl is somehow involved with a demonic entity, and that the demonic entity can, you know, through its power, whatever, switch that chunk of land from Earth to hell.
Yeah, you're talking about Silent Hill there.
Silent Hill, yeah. Like, so when you're hanging out and then all of a sudden you hear like the bullhorn or whatever start going off, and it's like, the F is that? And then the next thing you know, you're like in this whole different world, and there's all these, you know, demonic monsters trying to kill you, and You know, you got to listen to the radio because the radio will static whenever there's like a demonic creature near you. So at least you got that going for you, I guess. And, you know, you find the cop, but of course she gets killed pretty quick. So, yeah.
She gets turned into a Jill sandwich.
And you end up spending most of the game just trying not to get murdered by all the weird demonic creatures that are roaming about. You know,
the thing that probably made that game a little bit more scarier was the whole fog thing too, because you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It helps hide the errors or issues with a
Well, the fog
like
thing
that.
also, it made it where you couldn't like trust your eyes.
Yep, that too.
Because it was like, did I
It's
see a thing or did I not see a thing?
It's a game mechanic built in because of a mechanical limitation that helped the game.
Right. I mean, it was pretty cool stuff, but
Resident Evil did the different thing and just, you know, made the, you know, area small so it's a more claustrophobic.
Oh, Resident Evil, man, when you're walking down the hallway and the demon dog jumps through the window at you, that shit.
Yeah, I seen that. That scared me when I was a kid. I was watching my brother play it.
Scared you all. It didn't matter. Even if you knew it was going to happen, you were still like, yep. Oh, shit.
I'm surprised that they could actually fit that game on an N64 cartridge.
But like you said, it was like a very small play area.
Yep.
Because like one of the jokes about it is the fact that pretty much every door in the building is locked.
Yep.
You're walking around trying to open doors, they're all locked. It's like, nope. You can't come in any of these doors. Every door is locked. But
the writing is also just hilarious because you get things like Jill sandwich or you're the master of lock picking. Here, have these.
It was scary though.
Oh yeah, the moments like playing it would be scary. It's just the writing and the story was not as good.
Well, maybe a part of that was like translating it.
You probably, yeah, most likely.
Which I was watching. I think Clownfish TV was talking about. I guess Japanese anime companies are going to start using AI.
Yeah.
Because they're sick and tired of American. The people who do the American translations changing words and making things like more woke and stupid than they're supposed to be.
Trying to change the meaning to fit what they want instead of what the story's trying to convey.
Right.
And I'm with people with the Japanese on this one. If you're going to keep doing this, you might as well get replaced then.
Right. Well, you know, I mean.
In fact, one thing is, one of our greatest inventions was because somebody got tired of somebody else doing something stupid to their business. Did you know that the dial phone that we get,
yeah,
the rotary phone, was actually literally invented by a guy who owned a funeral home because this other guy's wife who worked in the what was it? You know, the where they were operators meant to direct you to certain places. She was directing all his customers to her husband instead of him. So he's just like, okay, screw you. I'm gonna make a new phone and make your job pointless.
Well, you know. I mean, most of the great inventions in the world were created by people who just were sick and tired of doing shit.
We're sick and tired of somebody doing shit to them.
Right. They're like, I'm feeling lazy. I don't want to do the thing. So I'm going to go ahead and figure out some way to make it where something else has to do it. And that goes all the way back to the first guy who was like, I don't want to walk all that way. You know what I'll do? I'll capture that animal over there. And then I'll put a saddle on it and I'll make it take me. And it just went that way on and so
it's
forth.
like, this is great, but we need something to carry more stuff. How about we get this wooden plank and put wheels on it?
Right.
Then we can have this beast carry it around.
Yeah. We've already been keeping these things around to drink their milk. Let's make them pull some weight too, F them. And on and so forth. Yeah. That's basically how it goes. I got to do my chores today. And I'm waiting to see if my wife is going to ever figure out where she wants to go and eat tonight for her birthday dinner.
Nice.
Yeah. It's like everything else. It's comedic is what it is. Where do you want to eat? I don't know. It's not my birthday. Where do you want to eat? And back and forth and back.
Makes me think of how things are here. It's like, hey, where do you want to eat? I don't know. Every time I offer any option, you just like can't do that. So why should I even answer?
Right.
It's like, okay, I'll give you options. It's like, how about this? No, can't do that. Okay, how about this one? Nope, can't do that either. Then what can we do? Why ask me if it's not up to me?
Right. Are you just trying to tease me to make me feel bad?
I have no clue what they want from me.
Like, I'm just trying to live a life over here, and you guys are all up here just doing crazy shit. Yeah, well, that's kind of what's going on.
They'll usually just get Houchin's chicken. I hate Houchin's chicken. Terrible. Nasty stuff.
Have you told them this?
Yes.
And they're like, we're getting it anyway.
Yeah, it's for them. I don't have to eat it.
They're like, you're fat anyway. You don't need it.
I'm like, I'll just fix myself something later if that's what you get.
Yeah, get what you want. I'll deal with it later. Yeah, that's
Or it's KFC, which is somewhat edible, I guess.
You and your hatred of the KFC up there.
It's terrible. Like most everything here, it's terrible. It's like even Papa John's is like getting worse now. It's the worst pizza place here now.
Oh man.
They lose out to Pizza Hut.
The Papa ain't doing it right, huh?
No.
Well, the last time I had pizza, it was Pizza Hut because my wife absolutely loves Pizza Hut.
I mean, it's probably better where you're at, but for us, it's barely any better than Papa John's now.
I don't know if any of what you just said is true.
Let's just say this. The last time I had Papa John's, it tasted like tomato paste and just regular cheese on there, like you get from the bottom bin of a store.
Well, another kind of pizza my wife absolutely loves is called home run pizza.
And they screwed up the crust too.
Yeah, home run pizza.
Never heard of it.
Apparently it was a big franchise up in Chicago. But you can get it in the frozen pizza aisle now.
Interesting.
So of course, she's all like wanting to get it because it reminds her of home.
Mm.
You know, the whole growing up, eating that home run pizza when she was young, because her parents had moved to Chicago.
We'd usually get like Godfathers. Don't know if you know anything about Godfathers.
I know about it.
Oh.
Me and Hunger used to get Tostitos.
Tostitos? Ah, yeah, Tostitos is okay.
The ones that were like 3 for $5. Hell yeah.
Yeah, they're not terrible. They're not the worst frozen pizza, at least. That's Tony's. Tony's pizza's trash.
We get those Tostitos when they were dirt cheap. That would be the thing, man.
Yeah, Hungar, I'll tell you this: if you had to have Halchin's chicken, you wouldn't agree, or you would agree.
I know that people can do bad fried chicken. I remember when Bonnie Lee's got new management, and their fried chicken went from divine to not even. I wouldn't feed it to a dog.
Popeyes is pretty good though.
Popeyes. That's a chicken you eat when you want to have explosive diarrhea.
I've never had that bad, really.
You know, maybe I'm just talking for myself, man.
Maybe, I don't know. The Popeyes that we've ate, has been generally good and not bad on your stomach.
You know, love that explosive diarrhea from Popeyes.
I always thought that was a Taco Bell thing.
Nah, Taco Bell's okay. Come on.
No. I mean, it tastes kind of bland.
My Taco Bell has a KFC in it. So I can get KFC or Taco Bell. That's right.
Hey, people would be going into the KFC if it was like that because they'd be getting Taco Bell instead.
Yeah. We can get whatever we want. We can get a taco and some chicken nuggets. Like,
I'll just
get a 2-piece with a taco or some of those cinnamon crisp things.
I'd rather just go to Jimmy John's and get a sandwich.
Jimmy John's. You and Danny DeVito.
Hey, Jimmy John's is actually a decent restaurant, I'd say.
Well, I don't know if I trust your opinion on these things. But, I do know that Danny DeVito does all their commercials, so.
I didn't know that. I don't watch commercials.
That. No, he does the commercials for Jersey Mike's, which is another sub place.
Well, we don't have a Jersey Mike's. We only have Jimmy John's and a Subway.
We've got a Jersey Mike's here. Well, we've got everything here.
That's one thing. We don't have much. We have like a Japanese restaurant called Yamato's. A donut place. A very good donut place.
Well, duh. Ran by Koreans.
Vietnamese.
There you go. One or the other, always.
You do have a Wendy's and a McDonald's and a Sonic's.
Hey, Wendy's. It's kind of hard to go bad with Wendy's.
I don't know. They've been kind of trashy.
Kind of trashy, jeez. Have you ever considered that maybe you just have standards that are unreachable?
No. I get it. Most Wendy's I'd probably be fine with. It is the Wendy's here that's terrible.
I don't know, though, because you've said everything is terrible.
In this vicinity, in this localized area, everything here is terrible.
No such thing as bad fried chicken. Yeah, I can disagree with that.
I'm just telling you, a lot of the problems isn't the restaurant itself, it's the location. Nobody here does a good job at all.
Why do you think that is? Are they all stoned or something?
It could be drugs, possibly. I could see that.
Like you're going in to get chicken from some place where everybody in the place is a meth head.
Possibly.
It's like,
Or they're just lazy and just don't want to do any good work.
They're like, meth. Cool, refreshing meth.
Like the Sonics, it's a very hit or miss there. Sometimes you'll get good stuff, and then sometimes you'll get the worst stuff ever, and they'll probably mess up your order too, just for funsies.
The Sonic down here is the worst thing ever. Me and my daughter went to the Sonics to get food one night. It was the absolute worst food.
It used to be nice because whenever they had the brown bag special, that's when they were actually decently good and decently priced.
Well, I don't know about all that, but we showed up. We ordered the food. We ordered the drinks. We waited. They delivered the stuff. We went home, and it was like everything was horrible. It was kind of like you could tell those burgers had been underneath the hot lamp for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, but they were still somehow cold.
I know what you mean. I think that's how our Wendy's are.
It was like, what the fuck? So I never ate at Sonic again.
I miss the whole fresh, never frozen.
Yeah, my
Wendy's
ass.
stuff.
But
good old fashioned hamburger.
Yeah. That's what my wife was talking about having for dinner tonight, and then apparently plans changed. So.
If we want a good burger, though, we'll just have to make it ourselves. That's the only way to have a good hamburger anymore.
Well, yeah. I thought I heard my phone go off, but I don't know where my phone is. But I'm pretty sure I just heard a bing.
Yeah, I heard it too. Is it not on your desk somewhere, or?
Oh, it is, but you have to remember, my desk is like 6 feet long and 3 feet wide, and covered in miniatures. So,
fair.
You could lose a miniature tank on my desk.
I've lost things on my desk.
That's how freaking messy I am, I guess would be the word. Look at this. These are my matching Case XX Sodbusters.
Nice.
I got the big one and the little one.
I do kind of need to get myself a knife.
Well, these are the best knives. For a pocket folder, Case XX Sodbuster, look at that.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, you could skin anything with that. A person, a deer, whatever needs skinned. When one of my uncles stabbed a bunch of people at the canal near where I live, he used a Case XX, but it was the big one. Then he gave it to me to hide. And then I lost it. I think at the fire department.
Oh.
So, Publix. Okay.
Our Publix is really good, but never gonna get to eat there.
Publix got the best subs, man.
We don't have those here. Although it's probably a godsend we don't have them in this town.
Publix makes the best sandwiches.
I would not trust anyone in my town to ever make one.
Okay, it looks like my brother, instead of hanging out with me, is just posting a bunch of shitty memes. Yeah, that sounds like something he'd done. Yeah.
I did that in the Discord the other day. Posted a few memes about Caltech. You know how Celtic is, right?
Yeah.
I got an idea. Can you make it right? Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Right. Yep. Every one of those memes was like not even worth the laugh.
Mm-mm-mm.
It's like that's the best you're getting. And Hungar could probably hear me talking, and I'm being like, no, no, sorry, bro. Bad memes. I mean, if you're gonna post good memes, post good memes.
Oh god.
For the love that of all that's hunger. Hungar got caught in the Antifa sting. That was so funny. Not your echo. Antifa showed up to do the riot, and they all threw their backpacks in one spot, and then they all got arrested. So then, like, random people started just going through their backpacks. And the funniest thing, of course, I heard this from Salty Cracker, is some dude found some chick's bipolar medicine and was like, "Dear, whatever her name is, I've got your bipolar medicine, and I noticed you've only got one refill, so I'd like to return it to you." You know what I mean? It's like, wow. And it was in Portland, which is what shocked me. You know, the Antifa guys all got together in Portland to do Antifa shit. And the Portland PD came out and like started curb stomping people. And it's like, okay.
Even funnier.
I guess Portland's sick and tired of being a joke.
God, Lunchables. That's a terrible thing to have.
You know, freaking. But yeah, there was like cell phones and wallets, ID, like basically all the shit you should be carrying on you. They had left in a big stash. Oh, there were tons of snacks. Tons of snacks, not your echo. Like Lunchables was one of them, but they were talking about all the different snacks and shit. Is like, and I'll tell you what, when Homeboy goes to jail, there is no way his mom is making him any mac and cheese and chicken nuggets. Right?
Oh, but now, James, those snacks were used in the commission of a crime. Those companies should be sued.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I don't even think it was in commission of a crime since they left them behind. But
I mean, it was in the, I guess you could say possession of the people.
But the backpacks were full of snacks and SRI medication.
That's how people are, at least whenever it comes to guns. Hey,
Yeah.
this gun was used in a crime. Well, let's go sue the guy who made the gun. That's how we do things now.
Well, you better hope it wasn't a Colt. Like, because that guy's been gone for a while.
No, they sue the company, which means that they just sue the company of Colt.
Yeah, I don't think that would fly in Florida. Yeah, all the Easy Mac is gone. All the Lunchables is gone. All of their anti bipolar, depression, whatever meds are gone. So they're just hosed, man. But the good news is I'm pretty sure the guys who rampaged through their stuff gave them all their meds back and everything.
Weird that he didn't use it to make drugs.
But it was still funny to you know.
Pretty sure there's something in the antidepressant.
Open up a backpack and be like, there's a bottle of Xanax in here. What the hell's going on with this person, you know? It's like, calm down, man. It's like you would think if you see a psych doctor and he says you need Xanax, that would be a clue that you are too high strung. And maybe you need to stop. doing all the things. Maybe you need to take up, I don't know, weaving. What's the other one that old grandmas do?
Knitting.
Yeah, maybe instead of being Antifa, take up knitting. You know, something that, because I mean, seriously, you're going to give yourself a heart attack or something.
Or cross stitching, I guess.
Cross stitching, pickleball, since old people seem to love pickleball. I don't even know what pickleball is, but
Me neither.
old people seem to love it.
My papa, he didn't. He played cards a lot.
Hey, pick up, join a play group, play rummy.
Yeah, that's what we'd usually play when we went over there.
You know what we played.
Couldn't
When I
play
was in the
Uno
Army,
anymore.
we played a game that some people would consider the name of a hate crime. We played spades a lot.
We couldn't play Uno with Papa anymore. He ripped the deck in half.
Oh. Yep, we played spades. And half the people I played spades with were actually.
My Papa got so mad, he ripped a whole deck of Uno cards in half.
That is a mad Papa.
Yeah.
Papa has decided that he is tired of your shit. Whatever you've been up to, he's just not having it. He's like, yep, I ain't having it. I don't know what's wrong with you idiots, but I am done. I mean, what did you do that set your kind old grandpa off so bad that he ripped a deck of Uno cards in half?
One of us was winning on that game, and I guess he didn't like it.
Yeah, well, probably because all of you little bastards kept throwing your draw fours on him. And he started feeling like you were ganging up on him and shit. He's like, F this shit. So basically, he's that guy that if you're playing D&D with and he didn't like the way shit was going, he's going to toss the table.
Possibly.
He's like, look here, Papa. You need to get control of your emotions. You're being a little emotional, and nobody likes that. I'm not saying he'd listen to me, but
No, if you're talking about the Antifa stuff, then yes, there probably were cat girls in it.
There were apparently, according to Salty Cracker, there was a lot of like furry stuff.
See?
So I guess cat girls count as furry stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there was a lot of furry stuff there, and like you said, there was Lunchables and Easy Mac and all the snacks that they probably got from their moms before they left the house to go start a riot. But their riot didn't last long at all. They showed up to start the riot and immediately just got slammed by the cops. Those cops had been listening to Onyx from back in the day. I don't know if you guys remember the rap group Onyx, but their number one song was Slam. And that's kind of what went down. Cops showed up and they're just like, slam, da, 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 da. Let the boys be boys. Slam, da, da, da. Yeah. Well, but they weren't letting them boys be whatever they are, Friggin'. It's like hilarious too. They're probably out there. Who knows what they were doing?
Who knows?
I was watching. I don't know what news show it was, and they're talking about in Buffalo or no Boston. They went in to get this illegal, and that it was wanted for like 72 crimes. And when they kicked in the apartment door, there was like a bunch of people in there. So they start checking IDs. They ended up deporting like all of them because they were all illegal. Only the one had the crimes, but they're like, while we're here, we'll go ahead and get all of you. It's like, okay. All right.
Though, if you go back to gaming, I have some interesting, not news, but I've learned something new about Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
Okay.
It was actually originally a beat-em-up game.
What game?
Cadillacs and Dinosaurs.
Really?
Yeah, the cartoon was based off of a beat-em-up game.
Huh.
Yeah. Kind of like, what was it? I'm trying to remember some of the old school beat-em-up games that you would see. Like, Double Dragon or something like that.
Double Dragon was awesome.
Yeah.
Double Dragon, Commando.
But yeah, that's what Cadillacs and Dinosaurs actually originated from.
So you were just running around like beating people up.
Dinosaurs and people up, yeah.
Huh. So it was like Turok.
Kind of. Well, no, because I mean, Turok was more like a 3D shooter.
So you could get in a dinosaur and run amok.
You couldn't.
Or jump in a Cadillac and just start running amok.
Well, there was stages where you'd be in a Cadillac, but you couldn't just always get in one.
I was gonna say, like, you're in this big ass Cadillac Eldorado, just running raptors down and shit. Because the average size of a raptor, not counting a couple of types, was about the size of a turkey.
Yeah.
I guess that would be fantasy or something, wouldn't it not, your Echo? I don't know.
Science fantasy? Did you say science fantasy?
Yeah,
I would possibly,
but you can throw science on top of it. Post-apocalyptic?
Yeah, post-apocalyptic fantasy, probably.
Because it does happen post-apocalyptic, so...
Yeah. And in the game terms, it probably wouldn't be science fiction, actually. It'd just be post-apocalyptic fantasy.
I wonder if the company that makes Cadillac gave them any money.
I don't know.
Because they should have, Yeah. That's like free advertising right there,
Yeah, kind of.
Well, I mean, it's using their literal name right on the cover.
Yeah.
Who knows? It could have inspired somebody to go out and be like, you know what? I'm going to buy a Cadillac.
Actually, the thing is, with this kind of game, they probably were paid by Cadillac to make this game.
See? Good for them.
Some companies would actually do that. Pay people to make a game based off of their product. So,
well, remember when Wendy's made their own version of D&D?
No.
What? You don't remember that?
No.
Oh my goodness. Homeboy, where have you been?
Yeah,
that's a good answer.
I didn't really pay too much attention to Wendy's.
Wendy's has, I think you can still download it for free, their own role-playing game. And in the role-playing game, you play the different characters, and basically the main bad guy is McDonald's.
Okay, so
McDonald's is always trying to freeze everything, and they even, I think, make a joke.
I want to know what came first then for that.
Yeah, we know about Cadillacs and dinosaurs. I'm saying that Wendy's made a game making fun of McDonald's. They even reference the fact that the McDonald's shake machine is never working, or their ice cream machine.
Yeah.
Like, they go hard on McDonald's in their game,
Okay,
and your whole deal is You're trying to defeat the monsters that,
Oh, neat. Capcom made the Cadillacs and Dinosaurs game.
Capcom used to be the shit back in the day, man.
Yeah, that 93.
Yeah, they used to make all the cool games. Capcom probably got who knows how much of my money.
Okay, so yeah, the tabletop game came first, actually. So first it was a tabletop, then there was a beat 'em up.
Huh. Well, I didn't know about either, so there's that. I mean,
well, we know.
I knew about the game because I used to be a game designer's workshop fanboy. Like there was a period where I kind of, as a youth, stopped playing fantasy games for the most part and become like super GDW guy.
Apparently,
I bought all their stuff, Twilight 2000 and all that.
Actually, apparently it started as a comic.
I believe it.
1986. And then it spawned a whole bunch of things like arcade game, Sega game, toys, animated series, music album.
A music album?
Yeah.
By BOC.
I don't know.
Shadow would be all over it. Be like, wait, Blue Oyster Cult did an album?
Okay, so yeah, the tabletop game came out before the video game. It came out in 1990. Yep.
Original name Xenozoic Tales. Yep. I seen the game and never bought it because I was 100% certain no one in my game group would ever play it.
Used to play a lot of RuneQuest.
For Game Design Workshop, we played a ton of Twilight 2000 and a ton of Traveler.
Well, you'd probably like this because the gameplay used the Twilight 2000 rules, the second edition.
Right.
So
which at one point, Games Workshop tried to make just their house system, and they tried to convert Traveler over to it, and people got so freaking bent out of shape that it was like, nope. And that was called Traveler the New Era, but a lot of people called it Traveler the New Error. You know, because it was just like, yeah, nobody's going to play that. That's just not happening. Sorry.
Yeah, I played, let's see, RuneQuest, Call of Cthulhu, Vampire the Masquerade.
Right. I've spent my whole life not searching for a heart of gold, searching for anyone who ever played Traveler the New Era and liked it. And I have yet to do that.
One of my friends wanted to try to get up a Coriolis game, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. No interest with
game ever.
None of his friends really wants to play it, it seems.
Yeah, but it's a super easy game. You make a dice pool out of your attribute and skill. You roll that many dice 6, and if you get at least 1 6, you achieved whatever. Not your echo's asking you a question, lad.
Yeah, no, I was answering.
Oh, that was your answer?
Yeah, I was listing out the games I played.
Your answer kind of sucked.
I'm sorry, I haven't played many RPGs. Tabletop
I didn't
RPGs.
like your answer.
You don't like Call of Cthulhu?
Call of Cthulhu's great.
Vampire the Masquerade?
Yeah, I still play that on occasion.
RuneQuest?
I'd rather play OSC.
See?
But I have played RuneQuest, 2nd and 6th edition.
I play mainly a modified 3rd.
yeah. Traveler 5. With all due respect to Mark Miller, it's like, what are you even trying to do? You know, it's like, okay, so the book is bigger than, I don't know if any of you guys remember phone books, but the Traveler 5 book was as big as a damn phone book.
And probably one of
And
the older
it's
ones.
full of weird rules, you know, like.
You might want to clarify also. You probably mean like an older phone book.
I mean, like an old phone book, like one of those big ass phone books.
Yep, because there's different types of phone books. The newer ones were always a little bit smaller. Or not a
And
little bit, but quite a
the
bit smaller.
rules were like, hey, let me give you the rules to create everything. And it was like, that's nice and all, but I don't want to create everything. I want to play a game. But I can't play a game because your game is not designed to be played.
It's designed to be
know what your
created,
thoughts
apparently.
were, but you know.
Here, create things with this system. But I don't want to. I want to play a game.
And that, I kid you not, that is the Ballad of T5. Shauner had it, and even Shauner was like, yeah, you can't really play this game. It's like there's just so much going on at all times that you're just like, what even is going on? You know, it's nothing makes any sense.
Don't bog the game with too many rules.
And this is a thing. It was like, I guess Mark Miller's idea was he was going to make the definitive once and for all Traveler game. That if you had this game, you were never going to need any other anything. This was going to be it. And instead, they put out a bunch of unplayable bullshit. I mean, the book was huge, but then a lot of people like Shauner bought the CD-ROMs. And, you know, it's like, ugh, what are you doing? It's unplayable. Oh, Jesus. And Erratapass added 100-page to a 700-page book.
Oh, God.
And it's so weird because I have Classic Traveler and the Traveler book, which is Classic Traveler. And other than the fact that every skill in that book is kind of a mini game, it plays just fine. The basic rule is get an 8 or higher. You know, it's like add your skill level, roll 2 dice 6, and hope to get like 7 or 8 or higher. And you'll be fine. Unless there's like a bunch of negative mods or something, right? But otherwise, now there were some things. What was weird about original Traveler is every skill kind of functioned separately and differently than every other skill. That was one thing that was kind of wild. You know, it was like he sold the whole thing to, don't blame him. If you,
I think I'm going to have to head off here, though. I'll see you.
I see you. Yeah, it's getting that time. If you were to want to do gambling, that would be an entirely different procedure than if you wanted to do bureaucracy. Or I mean, that's the only real negative anyone can say about the original Traveler. But I mean, the skills were all easy, like succinctly described, and like just you know, and it would tell you, oh, if you want to do this, then you need to roll this. So it wasn't that big of a deal. It was actually pretty easy. I mean, Star Frontiers was easier because unless you were playing Zebulon's Guide, you just was like, oh, my pistol skill is 54, roll percentile. Oh, it's less than 54. I hit. Boom, done. But anyway, to the 4 of you that have been watching, catch you later. I got to go do house tours and stuff here in a minute. So wish me luck. And peace and love.